Welcome to Ware Gaming Weekly for the week of January 23rd, 2019. Today we will be discussing Mortal Kombat, Pillars of Eternity 2, Japan software sales, and what we want from next-gen consoles. I'm your host, Nicholas Ware, and to my right, my brother, Joshua. Say hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
For your information, Ware Gaming Weekly posts every Wednesday on YouTube.com and on podcast services, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as well as pretty much anywhere else you can find podcasts. And if you want to be part of the show and talk with us, you can write in to weekly@waregaming.com or tweet at us at waregaming_. We would love to hear from you and have some conversations about what you like. But we have a few items for the news. So Josh, take us through the who, what, and the where.
Well, it's been a relatively slow news week.
Yeah, we need those.
Yeah, after last week where we had just an immense amount of news, today we get to kind of relax and we'll probably spend some extra time just talking about what we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So, starting off the list, something that interests both me and Nick, Persona 5 Funko Pops now exist.
What?
Yes. The London Toy Fair premiered a set of Persona 5 Pops featuring the characters Morgana, Ryuji, Joker, No,
I wrote that. And on.
and On.
And then I was going to come in and be like, what the? There is no Makoto in this Funko Pop. That's the only one I would have wanted to buy because Makoto is best girl. And I'm very upset about this.
Yes.
But,
I like Makoto as well. But
I mean, On's fine. But she's like...
she's the one they want.
She's the one that... Yeah.
Yeah.
But we will definitely be getting...
I romanced them all.
Well, some of us are traditionalists and just,
Even the teacher.
Well, we'll be getting these, at least one or two of them, and we will be showcasing them, and we'll maybe do an unboxing.
Yeah.
Add
them to our Sora collection.
Our Sora collection. So that was just some fun stuff, but maybe not so fun if you like The Walking Dead. Overkill's The Walking Dead has been delayed on consoles. A few weeks ago, or months actually, Overkill's The Walking Dead finally released on PC to little to no fanfare. This is from Owen S. Good over at Polygon. The PlayStation 4 and Xbox One versions of Overkill's The Walking Dead, which were due to launch next month, have been postponed indefinitely instead. Starbreeze Studios, which owns Overkill Software, made the announcement on Friday in a two-sentence news release for investors.
Didn't have much to say.
Starbreeze AB is currently evaluating and reviewing the performance of the game Overkill's The Walking Dead on consoles. It said. No other reasons were given. Excuse me. Overkill's The Walking Dead has been written about since August of 2014, well past peak interest in either the AMC series or the zombie genre at large. Now, what I thought was really interesting about the game was those trailers.
I was going to say,
really cool.
We've been hearing about it for a long time. Those trailers that they did, like character reveal trailers, and they were very high quality, like very polished CGI, and I had no idea what the game was going to turn into before it released, and I was like, what kind of game is this going to be? Because it looked really cool.
Well, Overkill also created Payday. There's Payday, Payday 2. That it's 4-player co-op. It's got that neat. I've not played it myself, but I've always been interested in that sort of like group that's go through the heist thing, kind of what GTA 5 ended up doing.
Sure.
So that's kind of the game based off of gameplay that eventually came out that it is trying to be. Continuing on with the article, when the game's development was formally announced, it was originally given a launch window for 2016. At one point, Overkill's The Walking Dead also had a virtual reality component. It was delayed a year in 2016. It was delayed a year in 2017. And during the PC gaming show at E3 2018, it was given a November launch date for all platforms. So the PC's version did launch on Steam in November, and according to Polygon, it wasn't very good. The game has 753 concurrent players on Steam right now. And then in December, Stockholm-based Starbreeze Studios filed for the Swedish equivalent of bankruptcy protection and fired its chief executive, following a November in which it reported disappointing sales for Overkill's The Walking Dead. Starbreeze is said to have paid $10 million licensing fees for the console version.
Very bad news for these guys over at Starbreeze. I this game, once I saw what it was, wasn't really for me.
Yeah, I just kind of.
It's clear they spent a whole lot more on marketing and building hype for this game than they did. From what I heard in the launch and the build up to the launch, there was just a lot of problems in the game. There was a lot of like mechanics that didn't work, and it was just hard to get into. And people were hoping to get it polished by the time it came to the consoles, and it doesn't. It doesn't look like it's probably going to happen.
I wish, I just went in the game that it looked like it was going to be.
Sure.
Instead of what it ended up
Or
being.
if it would have shown that what kind of game it was going to be, then maybe more people might have been interested.
Yeah, it would have checked in.
Not me, but it didn't. It just really didn't reveal what kind of game it was going to be until later.
Yeah.
That also comes after the headquarters for Starbreeze were raided by the Swedish SWAT or whatever.
Yeah.
And in regards to one of their executives possibly insider trading or something like that.
Yeah, we had a crazy 2018.
Yeah, 2018 to 2019
It's
now.
not looking up.
Not looking good.
Um,
Maybe THQ Nordic will buy them.
Maybe. From GamesIndustry.biz, Japan has seen some interesting software sales. With post-holiday sales slowing down in Japan, Nintendo software sales in the country nonetheless continue to have a pleasant January thanks to 2 solid new releases and continued momentum of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is from Rebecca Valentine at GamesIndustry.biz. There's a lot of information here, but the one thing I just wanted to grab was the top 10 software sales from December 31st, 2018 to January 6th. So just in that week alone, starting from the top, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, which was for the Nintendo Switch, sold 166,303 units. At number 2, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, 62,580 units. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. Now they broke down the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch sales. For the PS4 it was 41,510 units, and for Switch it was 26,588 units.
Interesting.
For number 5, Dragon Quest Builders 2 on Nintendo Switch sold 19,565. Super Mario Party at 19,054. And then Dragon Quest Builders 2 on PS4 sold 17,931 units. Pokemon Let's Go, both the Pikachu and the Eevee sold respectively collectively, I should say, 15,353 units. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 14,991, and Minecraft at 12,590.
You know what the least surprising stat of this list is?
What?
It's all Nintendo Switch.
Right.
Like almost all Nintendo Switch, because if you don't know, Japan is
huge in
the mobile handheld gaming market, because that's all they do is travel, apparently.
But at least when it comes to like heavy RPGs, they wanted to play it on the PS4.
No, these were the top 10 selling of that week, or was that just numbers for
that was just for that week.
Okay.
So some things have fluctuated since then, of course. I think Smash Brothers has gone up, or something like that. I just
look at New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe sold 166,000 copies in a week.
Yeah, that was over half of its.
I'm curious when it released.
Put out.
When it released in Japan.
I know, because here it released on January 11th, I think.
Yeah, 11th or 12th.
So yeah, just some things to think about. I'm always fascinated by number crunching.
Sure.
Mortal Kombat 11. Josh, why don't you take this one?
Sure. So there was a big Mortal Kombat event this week, and Ed Boon, along with the group over there at NetherRealm have revealed some details for Mortal Kombat 11. This is from Polygon, from Michael McWhorter.
Yeah, I didn't want to say the name, so I just you have it.
Mortal Kombat 11 will feature both new and returning characters, some who have existed since the franchise's beginning. No surprise there, including Sub-Zero, Scorpion, Raiden, and Sonya Blade. Fun fact: Sonya Blade will be voiced by Ronda Rousey of the
right.
UFC and now the WWE fame. Fan favorites like Baraka and Scarlet, who skipped the previous Mortal Kombat game, will be back for Mortal Kombat 11. Two new characters, Garrus or Girus.
I've been hearing people pronounce Garrus.
Garrus.
Not to be confused with Garrus from Mass Effect.
Oh, but, right. Garrus, not Garrus.
Right. Exactly.
and Chronica. No relation to Kronk.
No Kronk.
Okay.
Though I think I would like to see Kronk
I would like
in a
to see
Mortal Kombat game.
Yeah, but no, Garrus and Chronica will make their debut in Mortal Kombat 11.
So when I grabbed this article, one thing, because there's information between this paragraph and this paragraph, was that they were talking about the new character Chronica. Apparently, has been running the show.
Oh, that's right. She's taken over Raiden's position. Or no, it was what was it? Who was the? Raiden originally ran the Mortal Kombat, and then it was. I'm gonna get the names all mixed up, but now it's Chronica. I was actually did hear about that. Chronica's running the show, and but when Raiden alters the timeline by killing Shinnok in Mortal Kombat 10, she's forced to intervene. NetherRealm Studios hasn't yet confirmed whether Chronica will be a playable character, but she's the boss of the game and the first female big bad in the Mortal Kombat series. NetherRealm also teased another possible returning character, Cabal, who debuted in Mortal Kombat 3. Characters like Liu Kang and Kung Lao will appear in the game, but it's not confirmed whether they'll be playable. I really hope so, because Kung Lao was my favorite.
Oh, really?
Because he had the hat that it was like a bladed hat, and he would throw them at people.
Was that oh, interesting.
Mm-hmm. Liu Kang was the kicker. His moves were always like flying kicks.
Oh, interesting.
I might have that backwards, but you know. The initial roster for Mortal Kombat 11 will feature 25 playable characters, according to the character select screen, as well as Shao Kahn. That's the name I was looking for. A pre-order bonus character.
So Shao Kahn's the guy with the hat?
No. Shao Kahn was one of the like runners of the Mortal Kombat.
Gotcha.
Event.
I don't know anything about Mortal Kombat except I like playing it.
Yeah. I like playing it for a couple weeks, finding all the fatalities and babalities and performing them a few times.
Haven't they kind of gotten out of the babalities?
I haven't seen babality in a while, so yeah, I think they got out of that. But it'd be interesting if they bring something. There was like the friendality where like you would just end. I think that might have been Mortal Kombat versus DC.
Oh yeah.
Where like you could just end the match like as friends.
Oh really?
Or that also could be that was there might have been a joke video. It's all fuzzy in my brain. Mm-hmm. But they did so many crazy things. They wouldn't surprise me if that was in
there. So Mortal Kombat 11 is coming to Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Windows PC, and Xbox One on April 23rd. So keep a lookout for that. I'm very interested to see how the Switch is gonna do.
Remember Andrew Lincoln? That was his name. Andrew Lincoln from Nintendo.
Isn't Andrew Lincoln the lead in Walking Dead?
That might be true.
Are they both named Andrew Lincoln?
Possible. But now you got me confused. But it was a Nintendo representative.
Okay.
During the early console wars in like '92 when Mortal Kombat first came out. Howard Lincoln. Howard Lincoln. Howard Lincoln was like very vocal against Mortal Kombat because it was on Sega and they censored it on Nintendo, so it was green blood and sweat. And on Sega they allowed the blood and everything. It didn't matter. And like Howard Lincoln was like, we're not Sega's trying to kill your kids or something like that. Just absolutely crazy. Just this was like the congressional hearings.
Wow.
And apparently you can still watch them on if you go like C-SPAN.
Oh wow.
The website, you can pull up the archives and actually
cool.
watch the original like hearings for Mortal Kombat.
Video games have gotten so far.
Which is when Mortal Kombat is the reason we have the ESRB.
Yeah. Yeah. Ex-Infinity Ward developers open new studio Winterborn. This is from James Batchelor at GamesIndustry.biz. Winterborn is a new studio founded by former developers from Call of Duty creators Infinity Ward. The indie studio's head, designer, and programmer, Kent Gamble, previously worked as an engineer at both Infinity Ward and before this Beachhead Studios, contributing to COD Ghosts,
Call of Duty Ghosts,
Call of Duty Ghosts, Advanced Warfare, and Infinite Warfare. Artist and designer Moody Hamo also worked at the Call of Duty studio for several years. The duo has recruited a team of 5 around themselves, with Jack Steele as another programmer, Stephen Bowley on music and sound effects, and Trevor Oz as social media and community manager. And they're hard at work on a tactical RPG. The unannounced game is actually based on a tabletop game Kent devised when he was a teenager, set in a high fantasy world of his own creation. The title is in development for PC and consoles.
Cool.
I've had a story I wanted to finish telling for 12 years, Gamble said. Honestly, it's been a dream of mine to make the kind of game I grew up on, and I love tactical RPGs. I have this epic story I started telling when I created my own tabletop game when I was 15 years old that lasted almost a decade that I never got to go finish. And I always wanted to turn that universe into a video game. That's cool.
That's really neat.
I'm glad that he's following his dream.
Yeah. We'll be keeping an eye on that. It sounds very interesting. We'll bring you more as we learn more.
I'm also a person who had an idea when I was like really young, and I haven't let it die yet. So maybe one day we'll all find out what it is.
Now this is a cool story. I don't know how many times this has ever happened. So Pillars of Eternity 2 gets a turn-based mode. Now I can't really tell you much about Pillars of Eternity 2, except it's really popular, and
you can play it on PC.
You can play it on PC. But this essentially changes the genre of the game, but you can choose which one you go with. So I'm going to read this article. This is from Jeremy Peel at PCGamesIn.com. Pillars of Eternity 2 Deadfire players are no strangers to choice, but when you boot up the game from January 24th onwards, your first decision will come even before your character creation. Real-time or turn-based? Since the inception of the series, Pillars has been firmly rooted in the wonderful, messy, but deeply tactical, real-time, and pause paradigm of Infinity Engine games. That wasn't a decision the dev team made so much as the duty they fulfilled to a nostalgia-driven Kickstarter backers. Now, though, Deadfire is fully playable in a new turn-based mode. So, hang on, scroll back up. So it was a real-time strategy versus turn-based.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like going from Age of Empires, where you're setting up your bases and you're making moves, which is still kind of a turn-based, but other things are happening at the same time.
Right. Right. I don't know. I think that's super interesting that they decided to completely change up how the game is played.
Yeah.
Because of a promise they made to Kickstarters however long ago they...
Actually, no. They made they originally designed it as a real-time strategy, and that was the promise to Kickstarter backers. But now they've gone in and added a turn-based mode, and they're pushing it out as a free update.
I was just trying to decipher the... Yeah, okay.
I mean, this is rebuilding the UI. This is everything, and that's just incredible. This is Obsidian, right? It's the most fundamental and far-reaching change Obsidian has made any of its games after release, and I don't know of any game that's gone through this kind of change after it's already launched.
Yeah, same game getting reworked.
I don't know if I'll check out Pillars of Eternity. I might. I think it was free on the Twitch
oh, really?
doc, so I might pick it up now and check it out and try to see what the difference is. Because I actually do like real-time strategy games and turn-based games. So who knows?
I don't know that I really like either of those, so I'm gonna let you have that one. Well,
Okay.
that's not true. I like turn-based games. RTSs have never satisfied any of my interests.
Really?
So,
That's fine.
I mean, I'm not in a dejected sort of way. I just never really gotten for me. Next on the list, kind of going back from last week, we talked about this a little bit. Anthem's demo is coming out soon, but it's going to be a little different from the main game. This is from Colin Stevens at IGN. Mark Dara, executive producer of BioWare's upcoming Anthem, has given some details on how Anthem's beta that kicks off later this week will differ from the final game. In a series of responses on Twitter via Kotaku, Dara explained many of these differences. The demo will not place players at the beginning of the game, but at some point in the middle. There won't be tutorials, and or the pilot picker, which is the character's creator. The game's economy and overall balance will reportedly be much different in the final game as well. Because the team branched off on this demo and the main game back in December, the demo will be somewhat of a snapshot of what the game was at the end of last year. Because of this, there will be 6 weeks worth of less bug fixes, only one story arc, the mission Stronghold free play balance will be off, and the PC controls will be less nuanced, and things will have to be renamed for clarity in the main game.
Well, that last paragraph just took care of everything I was going to say. Well, I was going to say clearly this is this demo was pulled several weeks ago as a vertical slice, and
Colin beat you to it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. I think the dates.
Yeah, so according to BioWare, those who have either pre-ordered Anthem or are members of EA or Origin Access will be able to play the VIP demo from January 25th, which is this Friday, through
January
Sunday 27th. And then an open demo, which will be available to all players, will be open from Friday, February 1st through Sunday, February 3rd. And then, of course, if you play, you'll need your PlayStation Plus or Xbox Live on consoles.
I'm off this weekend, Saturday and Sunday. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not.
So,
Well, you can't do it this weekend.
Why?
Did you pre-order the game?
Not yet.
Oh, well.
We'll see. I was going to try to do it on Amazon, but apparently it's not. You can't pre-order that game on Amazon. Like, you can't even buy it. It just says this product currently
Did you
unavailable.
End up getting Kingdom Hearts?
Yeah, that one's pre-ordered.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun spoiler alert: we'll be playing Kingdom Hearts a lot,
and we'll get into that shortly.
Yeah. If you want to take this one, well, it's not much of a thing, but
yeah,
there's
there's not much to talk about here. Apparently this is over at comicbook.com. Lily Rupert reported that a new PlayStation 5 details leaked, including CPU changes and continued AMD use. We didn't want to go through all the technical mumbo jumbo, but this really is to say that it's clear PlayStation 5 is getting close. We're getting close to them talking about it and telling us everything that we wanted to know, and we thought this would be a good chance for us to talk about what we want and just prognosticate and speculate.
Prognosticate. Interesting. It sounds like something I don't want to be doing. So that is the who, what, and where. And as Josh said, we're going to get into this week's topic. So, with the news from Lily Rupert saying that, like you just said, there's the hardware information out there, it leads me to think, what does the next year, well, the next gen look like, if that happens in the next year or two or not? So obviously we have PlayStation 5, assuming that's what it's going to be called, because Sony.
Yeah, Sony hasn't really deviated from.
What I really want is that it be called PS5, but it uses a V, PSV. The only problem with that is that the Vita took the V.
Why do you want them to use the?
Because I don't know. Because it'd be cool. Like I would just. I mean, I don't know. I just do. a 5 is clunky with the P and the S, whereas the 4 was not. It fell in line. So I'm like, what if it was a V? It would be PSV. What if they made like the PlayStation symbol, the OG PlayStation symbol, but with
The PSV.
V? But then, yeah, I don't know. So that's top priority, PSV.
Yeah, no.
And then um, everyone's hung up on that they're convinced that the PS5 is going to have backwards compatibility. And we've always been convinced since 3 discontinued their backwards compatibility that 4 was going to change that. And then they didn't. What do you think is different about it now? Because every news outlet or, personality or whatever has been convinced that it's coming. And I don't not want it to come. But I'm like, are they really going to do that?
So, I'm not sure what exactly everybody's meaning exactly, what their full definition of backward. Like, do they expect the PS5 to be completely backwards compatible?
Am I going to be able to put my PS4 disc into the PS5? Is what I think of when I hear that.
I can't imagine a world where Sony puts out a PS5 that doesn't play PS4 games. So the reason the PS4 doesn't play PS3 games is because they're completely different architecture.
Sure.
So the PS3 used a proprietary cell processor that was notoriously hard to develop for. And so when you moved away from that, all those games would have had been reworked to the normal standard processor. And you saw that games several times throughout the PS3 generation would come out to the PS3 later than the Xbox because it was harder to develop for. And sometimes, were in many cases, ran worse. Think Skyrim. Skyrim was practically broken when it released on the PS3, like inexcusably broken.
That's right.
And that's a lot of part due to the cell processor. And the reason the PS3 wasn't backwards compatible to the PS2 is because originally it was, but that's because they kept both sensors. They had both sensors in the system, which made it more expensive. It was basically a PS3 and a PS2, rather than a single sensor that could read both.
I see.
So, in order to bring the cost of the $600 system down, they removed a big component of it, basically a $100 component from it to help bring that price down. So that's why those generations were really weird, and many people, I included, expected at least the digital games I bought on the PS3 to carry over, and for some reason that didn't happen either.
That was going to be my next question, because you and I are primarily digital gamers.
Mm-hmm.
So if we, for some reason, are lucky enough to be like day one adopters of whatever this is, like all the games that I've spent money on, are any of them going to be able to go over because they're all on there?
I think PS5 has to play PS4 games. I think it's going to be a bigger jump than PS4 to PS Pro. So between PS Pro and PS5, I think that is going to be a more substantial jump. But I don't think they're not going to reinvent the wheel with this one. So it's still going to be basically a more powerful PC, whereas this one is just an older powerful PC, and so that information will transfer a lot easier, and it'll make more sense to do that. And so I lost my train of thought.
I was talking about the way, like, again, our digital games, how you think that'll convert.
So it's just going to be the same. It's the same network. It's just going to hopefully just cross over.
I guess maybe just like when I go to your PS4 and go through the library, I can just download the games.
Yeah, and like you can log into a new PS4 and set it as your primary. You have to deactivate a no one. You're just going to do the same thing. You're just going to step up, and it's going to be the PS5 is going to be the PS4 Pro Plus.
Yeah.
And so
I've been thinking about that.
And so when games come out for PS5, it's going to be they're going to be able to play on the PS4.
Mm-hmm.
at least for the first, you know.
I mean, you can get one. You can get either.
Well, no, it's going to have the PS4, and then just like the PS4 Pro has features,
Mm-hmm.
and they could play in either a PS4 or a PS4 Pro. The PS5 games are going to play on the PS4 Pro.
You think so?
And it'll probably play based on the PS4 as well, and it'll play on the PS5. That way, they could potentially release this system in March, even though they're new. So they got 2, 3, 4, 5 games still coming out, and if they really want to just hammer Xbox
Mm-hmm.
and beat them to the punch, they could release this thing in March ahead of The Last of Us, and say we're going to release this day and date with Last of Us, or it's going to Last of Us be a launch title. This is just like crazy speculation.
Sure.
But they could launch a PS5 with Last of Us,
Mm-hmm.
and if you want to play Last of Us in like the best possible, most specs, you could play it on the PS5, but you could still play it on the PS4.
So if
And
I
it'd be
went,
one disc.
okay, that's what I was saying. If I went out to the store and bought a copy of The Last of Us on the PlayStation 5, I could take that disc and put it into my PS4.
Yes.
I don't buy that. I think it could work the other way around, but I don't.
Because when you buy a game for the PC, you don't buy a game for an old PC or a new PC. You buy a game for the PC, and it's got sliders for how well do you want this to run.
Mm-hmm.
And the PS4 does something very similar. When you pop in a game, do you want it to prioritize resolution or frame rate? And so the PS5 could do something very similar, where this is how good it can run. But if you're running on a PS4, this is how good it can run, and these are the settings to use. And not be super complicated about it, like a PC, but just basic. Either it'll detect what system it's in, and give you the recommended specs for the game, or it'll just send you through a checklist of here's what, and then send you on your way. And that way, the PS5 will have no problem with the launch library, and PS4 people, these 91 at this time next year, 120 million PS4 owners will have new games to buy, and if they want, they can upgrade to the PS5.
Well, you brought up you already talked about all my talking points, so I guess I'll come up with something else because that's what I was but bring up. So thanks for that.
You're welcome.
I was gonna say that since they just sold 91,000 PS4s, they don't want to million whatever. They don't want to not whatever 91 million PS4s that they wouldn't want to alienate. But they do that every year anyway, right?
I mean, every generation.
Every generation,
Yeah.
you have to leave them behind a little bit,
Right. I mean, in order for things to get better, you have to progress. And the PS4 is going to reach its limits, and in many cases has. I mean, Destiny cannot run at 60 frames per second on PS4 or PS4 Pro.
Well, right.
But it can on PC. And if the hardware included that they're talking about, a new CPU can run this thing, can give enough power for any game to run at 60 frames per second, I think that's what we'll start seeing, and that'll be a reason enough to upgrade. You'll see games run better. You'll see the UI is more fluid. It's better connected, and that's what I would like to see.
Okay. What are so that's kind of on a well, it covers a lot of stuff. But what are some other maybe more specific changes that you'd like to see? Because for me, I can't visualize, like, I think the DualShock 4 is, like, the best controller we got for the PS4. And I don't mind the touchpad. I know you kind of have a love-hate with the touchpad.
I don't hate the touchpad. I just think it's pointless.
Well, I mean, I like having a big fat button for my big fat fingers so I can open up the map and it's there.
But it's just a big select button.
It's great.
But we used to have a select button.
Yeah, but it was this big.
But yeah, it was right there. Yeah. I,
But also, I love. I like it. All right.
okay, I don't hate it. I just think it's
I just
no one uses it for what they don't use it as a touchpad. They use it as a button.
well, depending on what games you use, you can like draw stuff with it. I don't know what game does
What
it, but
what
I
game
know.
are you playing that you can draw stuff with? Name
Uh,
one. Name one. Exactly.
Okay. But if you play Astrobot VR, it well on the Playroom, if
Hmm.
you press it or hold on to it, you
Like
suck
a
up all
button.
the Astrobot. But then you can slide it out. It's a button. It's a big old button. All right.
It's a big old button, but there's no reason for it to be a touchpad, and no one uses it as a touchpad. And I don't think you redesign. Here's what the PS4 controller, PS5
right.
controller
Tell me what the PS5 controller
has
is.
got to do. I don't care what it does, as long as they fix the battery.
Oh yeah, for
The,
sure.
the battery is the worst. They need to go talk to Nintendo and find out what battery they put in the Pro controller.
Because that thing lasts for
Forever. And I mean, even the PS3 controllers lasted a really good long time. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, the PS4 controller has a
People
big touchpad and a light.
people blame the light bar.
It's an LED light bar. I don't know how much power that actually draws, but it's always on.
And also-
you can't dim it.
Unpopular opinion time. I like the light bar.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool that it changes colors depending on what you're doing. I've been playing a game, and like depending on if I've been playing Crossing Souls, and if you're in Ghost World versus if you're in Real World, it's blue or purple. I mean,
It's neat, but I'm never looking at the controller. I'm
yeah.
looking at the screen.
When I was playing Outlast, which is a game I played for like 30 seconds, it was green. I like what it's doing, and for VR, I can imagine what. I mean, it was clearly built partly for VR for tracking purposes, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I think it's not like other than it kind of looks cool, and maybe co-op you can see,
Yeah, it does kind of match the lights that are on the VR helmet too.
Yeah. So PS5 controller.
Hmm.
I think. Well, we talked about I think on the first episode that there's rumors that there might be a touch screen on
Yeah.
the thing to make it more like a Vita. But that to me that means that the controller has to be much bigger to justify having a screen in there. Because if it's the same window size as a touchpad, then there's no point.
Yeah, I can't imagine what.
What if there was
uses-
like a thumbprint on the controller that if you wanted it to be yours? It sounds dumb and they shouldn't do it, but like
No.
because you can unlock your PlayStation. Pretty sure that you can unlock your PlayStation with your PS camera.
Yeah, I think there's like
like
if you have
facial-
facial recognition. At least there used to be.
Yeah. So we have the way it's gonna run.
Battery.
Yeah. Yes. Battery.
I like the form factor. I wouldn't mind a little bit more premium feel, but
Yeah, that's the one thing. We've run through so many PlayStations and controllers,
Mhm.
and one of the most common things is that the thing keeps rubbing off.
yeah, the
Yeah, I had to
thumbstick.
finally buy those.
Well, for
Yeah.
my first PS4 controller, I didn't have that problem.
No.
I saw people talking about it all the time. Like my thumbstick, the rubber's rubbed off of it, and it's just frayed off. And that first controller, I don't think ever had that problem. I think it just eventually just died. But we have had other controllers that do have that problem, and I wonder if that's a manufacturing. Like sometimes the rubber is really strong, and sometimes it's not.
That's a problem.
That can be a big problem.
Always want the strong rubber.
Yeah, you definitely need strong rubber for the thumbstick.
So, and then what about we of course primarily PlayStation gamers. We're really excited for the PlayStation 5. There was one other thing. What about the UI in terms of like the cross media bar, stuff like that? I don't really see a need to change it a whole lot. The only thing
I think it could get better. I
couldn't tell you what.
I couldn't tell you what, because it can get really crowded, and then you put a bunch of folders up there, and then
And
it's
then you
crowded
just
with
have-
folders, and it doesn't look pretty.
I know that's the one thing.
And
I don't like about that.
the library function could be a little bit better.
I wish you could just search for the game that you're looking for,
Right.
or in your library, because you have the A through Z or purchase date. But I'm like, some cases it's not a problem when like I don't remember what I got. I'm just gonna scroll through and see. I'm like, oh, I have that. But and then it kind of got complicated that it started separating it by like PS Plus and then the games that you own,
Yeah.
or the games that you purchase or whatever. It's a little complicated. There's just some fine tuning there.
The store, as always, can use some overhauls. It's gotten, it has gotten great overhauls where the search function is now you can just type in what you want to find. You don't have to go through the weird tree of letters till it hopefully finds the one you're looking for. I would like them to separate the like video section just totally, so when I do a search, it doesn't
pop open. Yeah.
Right. Of course, now with the search function as it is, it's a little easier. But
I would like them to consider, since they're playing nice with everything with crossplay and everything. This isn't necessarily related to crossplay, but just another sort of playing nice thing is if they could roll in somehow PlayStation Now with the PS Plus subscription. Very similar to the conversation people are having around the Xbox Games Pass and Xbox Live Gold
membership. Yeah, I think we'll see stuff like that. I think it'll make it just more accessible, less confusing. Well, I already pay for Xbox Gold. Why do I need to pay for
more
this other thing?
Yeah,
I already get games with Gold. What? So this is different than. So I think eventually they're going to bump the prices up. Just again, I think that's the perfect time to do it. Is because we got a new console. We're going to bump the price of everything because reasons.
Yeah.
And so Xbox Gold and PS Plus are going to be $60 more, but
$60 more.
I don't know.
$120 a year for. Well, that's not. I mean,
if you think Games Pass and PlayStation Now are roughly what $10 a month, and so $120 for just that.
Yeah.
And so if you just double the price of the PlayStation Plus or the Xbox Gold membership, it would be about the price of a Game Pass, and then that would have more people paying more money. And
but then
now you get the PS Plus games or the Xbox games with Gold on top of these subscription services that they have with PS Now and Games Pass. And
so I guess conversely, the thing is, and maybe they could tier it, but what if you're a person who doesn't care about PS Now or Games Pass? What if you just you get the games that you want, you don't care about? Because I know there are people who just who play the Call of Duties and their Minecrafts and whatever, Fortnite, and don't. But I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying you got the people who like what they like. Maybe you could do do you want this or do you want this, or you could do a third option that's all three or both.
I guess you could do a tiered model where one PS Now would have to be totally overhauled and made just at least as close to what Game Pass is doing, and but I guess you could do an online only model for $80, and then for $120 a year, then you get everything.
Right.
And it might be more than that. I don't know.
Right.
If you consider $60 a year for PlayStation Plus, and then another $120 a year for the PlayStation Now, or I don't know the prices off the top of my head exactly, but then you're talking almost $200. If they brought that down, they would be losing money. But then again, you don't have to have PS Now to play online. If you included that in the bundle, then more people might pay $120. I don't know.
Yeah. Another thing I wanted to bring up, setting PlayStation aside for a minute, is it's interesting to talk about next gen. But really, in the past when we look at the next gen, it's always been the new Xbox, the new PlayStation, and the new Nintendo. Well, we've already gotten the new Nintendo.
Yeah.
And
Nintendo
so
fell out
of that cycle.
Yeah.
So now we have a situation. Now, do you think the Switch is going to continue to iterate alongside the other two big ones?
I think the Switch will continue to iterate, but I don't think it has anything to do with what the other two
Well,
consoles
sure.
are doing. But I think you'll get like a more refined model of the Switch, with maybe a bigger screen or better Joy Cons.
Right.
The Joy-Conless model that people are talking about, where it's just like basically a tablet you carry with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe for your kids or something, if you want to get them Pokemon Let's Go or the Pokemon game, you can get them the cheaper 200 or 100. What is the Switch right now? 300. So a $200 Switch,
Yeah.
which is an unswitch, so the non-switch.
Yeah.
And then you'll
I
have.
wonder if they would call it something like that because with like the 2DS,
Mm-hmm.
is just a 3DS that they decided
To take away the 3D. It's just that has no
Yeah.
3D functionality.
So if you take away the Switch function of it, should they call it
the
the
Witch.
unswitch? The witch. Which witch?
I don't know.
Not that witch.
But yeah, I think so. I think there will be a iterations. I think there'll be a cheap model, and I think there'll be like an XL model where the screen is bigger, higher resolution, better battery, and I pray better Joy Cons.
Now you gotta think that yes, better Joy-Cons. My left hand specifically falls asleep all the time. My right hand doesn't seem to as much, but my left hand every time I'm playing handheld specifically.
The Vita had the same problem too. The buttons were just too small, and you got like just the way you have to bend your thumbs to play, just is not comfortable.
When I play Lumines on it, my thumb starts getting very like achy.
Yeah.
So
That's why I just want the PS4 controller with a Vita on it. That's my dream console controller. Because the PS4 controller is the most comfortable, and then you could take it on the go.
okay. And so my last question for you, and for myself, is what do you think would take you to get an Xbox console? What would it take for you to be like, we us as a family we had the original Xbox, and then when it came time between the 360 and the PlayStation 3, we just stuck with what we knew because that's what. And
Well, at the time, I mean, Xbox has always been known as like the shooter. It was always the M-rated console as a kid, where you had the Gears of War and everything was just more like violent. So those were games that, as minors, our mom was very good about ESRB ratings and wouldn't let us play anything that was M-rated.
I remember when I ratted you out on Grand Theft Auto,
Yeah.
San Andreas.
Well, I mean, she knew it was, but it was worse than I kind of let on.
Yeah.
But anyway, so there was just a lot of games on the Xbox, at least that were commercially, that I knew we just weren't going to be able to play. And at the time, I wasn't a big shooter, so I wasn't going to play Halo or Gears of War. They just weren't. They didn't call out to me. Nowadays, if something like that came out, I would most likely try them out. But so that's what led us to playing PlayStation, because we started with PlayStation. So PlayStation 2 and 3 just made more sense because we liked the games. The first party games were going to be mostly T-rated or better, or below, and
Not so much anymore, though.
no,
They've matured with us.
yeah,
Well, and I'm not bringing all this up to like try to like defend us not playing Xbox.
no.
I'm just saying this is the reasons why we haven't.
right. So
and we haven't felt
what
compelled.
would lead me to buy an Xbox would be games. This generation that has just been very sore on games for Xbox. They haven't put out just anything that blew anybody away. Not that I can.
Yeah, there's not been
think
quite
of.
any system
People
sellers for me.
People have enjoyed Halo 5 and enjoyed other things. The best thing the Xbox really has going for it is Xbox One X, which everybody says like they prefer to play everybody who owns one prefers to play their third-party games on there. They say like Red Dead Redemption 2
Better on the X.
was noticeably better on the Xbox One X, and I thought it was beautiful already. So
That's one thing PlayStation needs to do for 5 is they have to be on par, if not better.
no, they can't be on par. They have to be like. This is clearly better.
Yeah.
We're natural 4K. And it's not necessarily, but again, it's not about the visuals as much going forward as much as it is the the hardware and the capabilities.
Sorry, it's getting late.
Yeah, but no. So it's got to. It's going to do 4K. It's going to do all that just fine. It's going to be the 60 frames per second. How well this is handled? Is it going to sound like a jet engine?
I hope not.
I hope not. But what Phil Spencer is doing with, and it's not just him, but he's the president of Xbox right now, and what they're doing over there is really interesting. I'm very curious about what the initiative is doing. They're picking up all these these developers. They got Obsidian. They've got the Ninja Theory. Was it Team Ninja?
Ninja Theory.
Ninja Theory, who did Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice, which is a game I missed out on, but was really good. And that, now we're not going to get
those games
on PlayStation ever again, other than the Outer Worlds from Obsidian. So, and I still really wouldn't be surprised if Xbox tries to pull that.
I don't know. I think it's too late. They've already said it.
They did that to We Happy Few.
We Happy Few is still available on PlayStation 4.
Is it?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm 85% sure.
Because I thought it was originally announced for.
We can look it up.
Yeah, we'll fact check it real quick so we don't give you bad information. But I'm pretty sure it was like picked up and only on Xbox. But nope.
It's even got PSVR support.
Totally wrong. Disregard.
But that was similar when we found out about them picking that up. So if you have any hopes for the future for the next gen, I know we were heavily one-sided, so we'd definitely like your feedback on what you are excited for with the PlayStation or the Xbox or the Switch.
Or maybe you're more excited for the Mad Box.
Or the Mad Box, or Google Cloud, or
xCloud.
xCloud, or whatever. Last week's episode. Go watch it.
But the initiative we're looking at, we're watching. I'm very excited about what they're doing over there.
Before we go, we want to tell you about some games that we've been playing and some games that you can play starting this week. So for myself, I picked up this game from a little-known developer or publisher called Devolver Digital.
Never heard of them.
Never heard of them. Which some of you may not. They have been.
They're really good.
I didn't know how many games we owned that were Devolver Digital before, and I started hearing, what is this? And then like Broforce, Devolver Digital, Hotline Miami, Devolver Digital, Crossing Souls, developed by a company called 4Attic. They're Spanish, Spanish developer. Crossing Souls came out last February, and it is a action adventure, retro 80s inspired. Well, it takes place in the 80s game. It's top down. Well, yeah, isometric. Thank you. And you play as 4 characters. You play as the main character's name is Chris, and his little brother named Kevin has told him that he's found out he's got something, and he needs you to get the gang together and come to the tree house. And so you go through this town that's set in California, and you're just your dad gives you this baseball bat that his grandfather used to hit home runs and whatever, and that's your weapon of the game. And everything you fight with when you're playing as that character, you fight with the baseball bat. Eventually, you get 5 characters: Chris, Big Joe, Charlie, who's the girl, and Kevin. That's 4. Oh, and Matt, his science friend. And so you just go through and you find the stone called the Duat, which is the like access point for you to see the world of ghosts,
Mm-hmm.
where you just activate it, and all of a sudden you see the ghosts who came
The
before.
spectral realm.
The spectral realm. I don't know that they've. I can't remember. I beat the game, but I beat it in like 8 hours over 2 days. So,
So not a long game.
so it's not a very long game, which was I was debating. I was getting into it, but but it was also one of those games where if this went on too much longer, I don't know how much it would hold my interest. And I think
Sure.
it just hit the sweet spot, almost to the point where I'm like, I could have used one more level, which was by the time I got to the end. It's a very fun game. I don't know that I did a great job explaining what the game is, but so you're these five teenagers who found this stone that can uh, uh, look into the afterlife, and then the government who lost the stone finds out that you got it, and then they come after you and start kidnapping things. It's actually quite a dark story
Mm-hmm.
for as bright of a game that it is.
And it's very pixelated. It's
Yeah. It's very pixelated. What's interesting is that there are cutscenes that are animated like an '80s cartoon, though.
okay, cool.
So you get to see what these characters really look like when they're not pixelated.
Sure.
So it's really interesting. Each character has their own moveset. My favorite character was Charlie because she was the fastest of getting around. Some of them can jump, some of them cannot. Charlie couldn't jump, but she could zip through places really quick. As a stamina bar, the more you use attack or moves or jumping moves, the more stamina you used, which was a little problematic. It's not. It's There's no RPG elements in terms of like you don't upgrade your life, you don't upgrade anything. You find elements in the world to like bombs and stuff to attack.
Okay.
It's really interesting. I really like it. Again, I beat it in 8 hours. There's more to do, but another
Great.
gripe, if you can call it that I have with it, is that once you're done, you're done. And there's only 3 save files that you can have. So again, unlike an RPG, you can't just hop back in wherever you were. So if I wanted to try to platinum the game, I would have to play through it again, and I'm not interested in doing that. So
Okay.
I recommend it. I think it was only like $6. I picked it up on a sale. I'm sure you can find it online on Steam for much cheaper than that. So give it a shot if you're interested in that kind of game. But you've been playing a game.
Let me tell you a little about a little game called Ace Combat 7.
Tell me about it, Josh.
So Ace Combat 7 released on Friday, and I was originally gonna like wait it out, but people were talking about the VR, and I talked about it last week. People described it as dangerously awesome,
Is it dangerously awesome?
and I bought it. And first thing I did Friday morning was put that headset on,
Or is it awesomely dangerous?
and first thing they do is you're on this aircraft carrier, and they taxi you into place on the runway. And at first, that I was worried because I immediately felt that little like oof, that little uneasiness in your stomach. And then we took off, and my like instincts just kicked in as a pilot, and I looked, I was like, I'm flying. And this is the coolest thing I've ever done in VR.
Wow.
Hands down, I loved it. And there was only 3 missions, and I was sad. Now they have like a free reign mode, so you can like go around and fly around. And I'm probably gonna go back through and try to like beat the scores or get as good as I can in the VR missions. But it was incredible.
Wow.
It was. I mentioned this on Twitter. I put my story out there that the first game we played, I got on the PS2 back in 2001, was Ace Combat 4, and
Yeah, I
I
remember.
beat that game like multiple times, and it was that game that made me want to become a pilot,
That's awesome.
and I did become a pilot, and then I played Ace Combat 7, and I'm in the story right now. So there's the 3 VR missions, and then there's a normal story outside of that. The cool thing about the VR missions, though, is you play as a character called Mobius One, and Mobius One was the name of your character. Now, I've played more than one Ace Combat game, but I can't remember if you were always playing the same character. But in Ace Combat 4, your call sign was Mobius One.
Okay.
And so it instantly hit the nostalgia button. And I was like, they kept calling you like this veteran pilot, like this, like you're like a legend, and you get called in for this group, and they're all like, talking crap about you. You're like, oh, he's just an old man. I hate flying with old pilots. They think they're so good. And then like you just like mop the floor, like you kill everybody, and they're like,
Oh wow.
oh, he's good. And you just feel like a badass. And then so that was really cool. It hit all those notes for you, and then you get into the story, and it looks great. So in the non VR, just standard campaign, it looks great. It's got a really neat story. It's the Ace Combat games take place in a non Earth, so like all the countries and continents, they don't look like, they're not shaped like our Earth.
Yeah. There's not the U.S. or anything like that.
No, there's like effigies, or like they have the Federation of Oceania, which is basically the United States. It's like in it's meant to imply that it's kind of like the United States. And so in the campaign, you're at war with this other country called the Kingdom of Eurasia.
Eurasia?
Like the names, the country names and the people names are all just like crazy.
Okay.
Like don't make any sense. They like just, it's word soup. Like,
That's weird.
It's weird. But everybody speaks English, and it's weird. It's made by Bandai Namco.
Okay.
In Japan. But anyway, so in the campaign, they also, I don't want to like spoil it for anybody, but they do also bring in some tropes and like callbacks to the original, or to the Ace Combat 4. Like one mission in particular I just did involves something you did in the very last mission of Ace Combat 4.
Oh, really?
The whole of Ace Combat 4 was building to this thing called Stonehenge, and they bring in that kind of plot into this, and they're like, "Oh, how old is this thing?" And and they just talk about.
Do you think that was intent? I mean, like, they must know Ace Combat 4 was like their starting.
I didn't play anything before 4, and I played the other games, but none of the other stories stuck with me as much as 4 did. Maybe because I played it more. I played 5. I think that was the Belkan Wars. I played 0 on the PSP. I think there was an X. And then there was the last one, which was Assault Horizon, which I don't know if it had anything to do with anything. I didn't play that one. So, but like I said, none of the stories really like stuck with me like 4's. So, I think it's intentional that 4 must be one, like a popular one among the people, for them to be like repeatedly kind of referring back to, at least it for me. That's where it's hitting all the notes. I feel like I'm probably 2/3 through it. It's hard to tell. But I've just been putting hours and hours into this game. Incredible. I can't recommend it enough.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, check out Crossing Souls and Ace Combat 7. One of them came out last week, and one of them came out last year. But if you wanted to know what you can look out for the next week, we got a list here for you. So for PSVR, we have A Fisherman's Tale, which comes out January 22nd. So, you looked this one up.
So I looked through a few of these. I pulled up the trailers, and so A Fisherman's Tale is a VR game, and what was really cool about it, it starts off, and you just see this guy. He's this sailor, and he's brushing his teeth, looking in the mirror, and like he opens the mirror, and then he's looking at his back. Through he opens the mirror like a medicine cabinet, and all he sees is he sees his back, and he's really confused. And then it shows him turn around, and he's looking at this like diorama on the table, and it looks like a little shack or whatever. And he takes the roof off the shack, and then the roof above his head disappears. And he looks up, and then he sees himself holding the head thing, and he looks down, and he sees himself.
Wow.
And it's just like infinite mirrors.
Yeah.
And it's this puzzle game where you have to solve puzzles.
Wow.
you have to use the different perspectives and dimensions. Basically, you're your own helper. So, like, you might have a little tiny pipe, and you need a big pipe, so you like hand it down, and then you grab it off like the windowsill, and you have the right size pipe, and you put it where like a leak would be or something, and then you like you. He was doing something with the the sink, and then it starts spraying water into the room or into the little diorama, which started filling up your room with water.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool.
Interesting.
I definitely want to be checking that out.
The console, the complete edition, comes to PS4 and Xbox One on January 22nd. Future Grind is a game that comes out on PC, PS4, and Switch.
So, let's see. The Council, I don't remember what that one was about. I think that was a weird, like,
Sounds
crime
like
drama
Okay.
game. Future Grind, that one was like an Excite Bike or like Trials. The Trials Fusion or the where you're like a dirt bike, but mixed with like a rhythm game or like a. So basically, your motorcycle has like it looks like the Bat motorcycle. So you have like two big wheels, one in the front, one in the back, and sometimes they're different colors, and you have to
Okay.
flip the bike around to hit the rails
Oh.
that
okay.
match the color, and it looked really neat. Might be fun, arcadey little game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. The Raven Remastered on Switch on January 22nd. Shadow of the Tomb Raider: The Nightmare DLC on PC, PS4, and Xbox One, January 22nd.
I did want to point out that the Raven Remastered, it looked weird. I didn't know what it was. I don't recognize it, but at the end of the trailer I watched, it didn't mention that like it got nines and like eights and nines from like
Oh.
IGN and GameSpot and Kotaku. So it was well received when it originally came out, and it's coming out again on the Switch.
Cool. Sonar Beat on PC.
That looks like a very boring rhythm game.
At the Gates on PC.
At the Gates was so from like the creative director or the director or something like that of Civilization 5
Okay.
created his own studio and made it At the Gates. So it's a real time strategy like Civilization.
So Sid Meier.
Not Sid Meier.
Okay.
Sid Meier, Sid Meier Civilization is named after the original creator,
Right.
but he's not been the creative director in all of them.
Okay.
At the Gates,
Like Tom Clancy didn't make The Division.
well, at the time he was anything that had Tom Clancy's name on it, he consulted.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't he pass away before The Division?
No, he was working. He was still alive during the Division. He was still consulting for Jack Ryan.
Oh really?
Yeah. He died while they were doing that. So no. So way off. At the Gates, real time strategy, neat like colorful art style. And what I thought was neat about it, I don't know, this is probably not unique, but like the seasons will change while you're playing.
Okay.
In Civilization, time changes, but nothing like on the map really changes. But it talked like you'd have to like gather supplies and
Prepare.
help your like civilization at the time last through the winter. And it's supposed to be it takes place after the fall of the Roman Empire, and you're trying to build up your own kingdom. So it's kind of
Cool.
neat.
Life is Strange 2 Episode 2 Rules comes to PC, PS4, and Xbox One on January 24th. I have not. Life is Strange, one of my favorite games of all time. I've not played any of Life is Strange Season 2. I think I'm just going to wait it out because I enjoy binging.
Yeah.
And so.
I don't like episodic games. I just want to play the game.
Oh, I mean, I don't mind that it's episodic. I appreciate it.
Just give me the game.
Okay. Here you go. Memory of Us comes to Switch. Now we both looked at this one.
A fun fact about this one, it was narrated by Sir Patrick Stewart. I heard the voice and I was like,
Is Patrick Stewart a sir?
yes,
I thought Ian McKellen was a sir.
yes,
Are they both sirs?
yes.
That's,
Sir Patrick Stewart narrates, and this game looks really cute. Valiant Hearts was what came to mind. It seemed to be.
It had like a World War II vibe, except not. It's like
It's like alternate.
Well, it's like Schindler. It looked like Schindler's List.
Yeah, it was
but
like
with robots.
Yeah, there was like it had like
Schindler's List with robots.
a grayscale, black and white, like art style, very like cartoony.
Well, the girl in the red coat and
yeah, and there was a girl in a red coat.
and Schindler's List. That's why I said that.
Yeah, and that's what she was. She was a girl in a red coat.
Right.
Right.
Continue.
Anyway, so it looks really cool. I think I'll check it out. That comes out January 24th on the Switch.
Piku Niku.
That is Japanese. It's let's see if I can do it. Pico Nico. Pico Nico.
I'm not making fun of Japanese.
No, it's the Japanese. Like
Is
my assumption is it's Japanese trying to say picnic. They're when they say "ka," there's a "ku." There's a "k." It sounds like "ku," and that's.
Now, did you watch the trailer for this one?
I did watch the trailer for this one. This is a Devolver game. But like developed by a Japanese company, published by Devolver Digital, because there was Japanese writing all over it. So, and bizarre.
Okay.
It was like 2D Microsoft Paint, like it looked like a game I could have made in Microsoft Paint. Not saying that it looks like I could have, but that was the art style. It was very, very rudimentary. You're this blob with these long legs, and you can like throw them, and like you could play co-op, and you could like throw each other around, and it's weird. I'm sure it's fun.
Anyway.
It just looks weird.
Resident Evil 2 remake for
one.
PC, PS4, and Xbox One comes out on January 25th. Does that do anything for you, Josh?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so. But it's a game I want to like.
It's a game I appreciate from very far away.
There's many times where I've sat there on the the PlayStation Store, thinking, "Do I want to download the one shot?" And then I go, "No, I don't," because I'm a big scaredy guy.
Yeah. I don't do spooky.
No.
But Resident Evil 2 remake, I mean, from what I've seen, it looks really good.
Yeah.
Everybody who's played it loves it. I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
You do it over there.
Yeah. Genesis Alpha 1 comes to PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
No idea what this one is. I didn't get to watch this trailer, and I mean, from the name, it sounds like it doesn't even give me any idea of what it is. Of course, I guess Pico Nico didn't either. So
yeah. And this little obscure game.
Just this little game coming out
called Kingdom Hearts 3.
Now,
this says it's coming out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Is it really coming to PC? Let's look it up. Kingdom.
I know it's coming to Xbox One
yes.
and PS3.
Or
4.
Well, it's coming to PS3? Wow.
Heard it here first.
Okay, so the internet says it's just coming to PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So wherever I must have pulled this from. Hold on.
Just go to the Kingdom Hearts website there. I'm pretty sure it's just PS4 and Xbox One, but who knows?
If I wanted to buy Kingdom Hearts 3, it's just going to take me to the same page.
Yeah. Pre-order now.
Yeah.
Yeah, PS4, Xbox One, not PC.
Okay. So, sorry, PC players. You can go play Pillars of Eternity 2 and turn-based, while the rest of us play Kingdom Hearts 3 and active time battle. We'll be talking about that much more. Maybe we'll do a spoiler cast or something for Kingdom Hearts 3 whenever we have time to beat it. Comes out January 29th.
That is actually next Tuesday when we will be recording our next episode.
Oh, so I won't be here because I'm going to be playing. So you can do the show, and I'll go play.
No, we'll do the show. You'll have had time to give some basic impressions of the game.
Oh,
because it comes out on Tuesday. We record Tuesday nights. So
who works Tuesday?
I do.
Oh, sweet. Nice.
So you'll get to give some just very basic, non-spoilery impressions and then after we could record, which it'll be a very short show because then I will be going to play all night because I'm off the next day.
Well, uh, so in the meantime, Square Enix has announced that their Kingdom Hearts VR experience has been delayed. This is the first I knew that there was a VR experience. So there is a concert from one Hikaru Utada, uh,
Very good.
uh, who does two of her songs, Sanctuary and the new one, Don't Think Twice.
Don't.
Or is it the Skrillex one? Or is that the Skrillex one?
Mm.
It's two songs. You can go download it on PSVR for free. But this one is a different experience.
Actually, I think this is
that.
this is that. I think
I don't
that,
think this is that because I just downloaded that.
Did you?
Yeah, I haven't watched it, but I just downloaded it.
Because well, it's supposed to come out on the 23rd.
We are the most prepared people in the world.
Well, I was looking for it and I couldn't find it, and so when I read this article, it said that it was supposed to have the special VR experience as well as music gameplay and music videos. So I assumed that that's what it was. But if you downloaded it, maybe it's two different experiences. But there is a PSVR experience for Kingdom Hearts 3 that includes you get to experience scenes, gameplay, music videos from the RPG series in 3D, as well as there's the live concert, which I think it's just like a concert for you. Like you're in a room with Hikaru Utada, and she's singing her two of the hits from Kingdom Hearts. So I'll also be checking that out, and we'll be able to talk about those next week.
Yeah.
So.
All right, that's our show for January 23rd, 2019. Again, my name is Nick, and his name is Josh, because I can introduce him. If you want to check us out, again, go to @WareGaming_. You can go to WareGaming.com. You can go type in WareGaming to your Google, and you'll find us. You can find me.
No guarantees on that. There's a lot of... I've done some Ware Gaming searches, so follow the links. WareGaming.com, @WareGaming_.
You can follow me @SpeakNicholish.
You can follow me @Jaws1015.
And again, write in to weekly@WareGaming.com to be part of the show and yell at us about how we don't care about Xbox. Until next time, thank you for watching.
Have a good week.
Bye.